Welcome back to work. No, this isn't Workbench Wednesday. Well, actually, that's a good interlude, I guess. This is just a kind of a PSA that Workbench Wednesday is going to be going on hiatus for the next couple of, days. It won't be on this week because I filmed other stuff that I'm going to put out instead, pertaining to the Orc Codex and all the fun stuff within it. So, with that in mind, let's move on to what we got done and what we'll be working on this week. So the main thing. Oh, and I'm also using a different lighting system today. So we'll see if how it looks. If you prefer the previous lighting, let me know. So here we have our Shokkjump Dragster team yellow all finished up there. So did a little bit of different stuff. We did some color inverting on the model to make them stand out compared to the other one. But we're keeping our purple and golden symbology, just kind of help with that theme of maybe a racing team in the event that I do run more than 3 Shokkjump Dragsters or Mega Trap Scrapjets. Any of the first variant, the first 3 of every buggy that I'm going to make will have a purple symbol. So I did some head swaps on the Gretchen, painted them up a little differently. I chose this head in there with the scarf because I love it. But the only thing is, I forgot that I have to fit another Gretchen over top of that guy. So he's kind of pretty close to the gun. I was a little worried that as the glue dried, he would fasten in a weird position. But it actually worked out well because his little scarf there is poking out behind his buddy's arm. So yeah, and then I did a little bit more detailing on the squig on this one compared to the first one. Swapped the colors on the tubing from yellow to blue for this one. All done with contrast paints again. A quick dry brush, actually, I've noticed I must have hit the model at some point last night. There's a little bit missing there. So we'll patch that up and then give him a seal, chuck some static grass down on it. And I think it turned out really well. I actually like how I've done the pipes on this one, being one solid color right through. So that was our painting project that we mostly got done. I also finished off the truck's wheels. Oh, if I can, this thing's pretty wedged on there. The flatbed, you could almost dry fit this thing on there. There we go. So I finished off the truck's wheels, got those stuck on there. I'm not going to glue them just because they're really tight. I was afraid taking them off and gluing them back on, I'd break something or something bad would happen. So I got the bed all assembled and ready to go. Started putting some paint on it, just getting the initial paint on them. And then these 2 little bases I started working up, because I decided to go through my bits box / pile of shame. And what I came back with was a dreadnought, a death dread because of orcs. So what I did was, he was originally done to have, I think, 2 claws and 2 saws. But the saws aren't as optimal now with how everything's going on in the meta with regards to Death Guard and the amount of 3 wound models that we're seeing in the world. So what I did was I clipped off the arms really savagely and poorly because nothing better I can't do. And then I found a plasma gun from one of the Guard Sentinel vehicles. And I magnetized that side. And then this side's got the custom Mega Blasta. Or Mega gun, whatever it is. It's like the plasma gun equivalent for orcs. So those are magnetized on there. And then with those 2 spare arms, what I did was I started building more dreads. So this is a dreadnought from the Assault on Blackreach, who I painted up terribly when I was a kid. Everything, I was in love with lime green and black. I don't know why, but that was the 2 colors that I used the most. So once again, we have another Imperial Guard Sentinel plasma gun plasma cannon that I clipped down and glued on as an underslung kind of in replacement of the Stormbolter that came kit on this guy. I got rid of his multi-melt arm. I used one of the salvaged arms from the Death Dread, one of the claws from the Death Dread kit, and then another mega cannon, or mega gun. And then I wanted him to kind of look a little orky, so I clipped down some sprues, filed them into some sharp teeth looking things. He's got his little nose patch. He's got one huge eye, one small eye. Gave him a little flare with another piece of scrap plastic I found. Everything here is all from the orc kit, except for the occasional little guard thing. So guard sentinel, guard sentinel, guard sentinel, sentinel, sentinel. And then actually this arm piece here, that's from the Shokkjump Dragster. It's supposed to be like a little covering metal plate, but I think they look goofy on it because it's just like unnecessary weight to an orc who wants to be coming in first in the grand race. So I'm going to see if I can find a couple of the glyphs from the truck kit to cover up this back panel here. And then he's all ready to go. So he's got his Mega Cannon. He's going to have his counts as Mega Cannon and 2 Dread Claws. So the thought process is I was thinking of having 2 backfield kind of brawlers. Like these guns, they're really short range, but the models themselves are cheap. They're only like 105 points for one. And I think they're just enough of a backfield persuasion unit. So if they sit back there, or if I deploy them as a squad, I could always get a 3rd one and then deep strike them in. And yeah, so I like how they turned out. This one's pretty goofy and fun. A bunch of, and Death Dread, more Death Dread parts to thicken him out, because I didn't like how thin he was. Originally I shoved the ball from a bubble gun in there, and it kind of made him look really thin and lanky. So I wanted to bulk him back out, make him look a little bit more cylindrical, like the OG Death Dread. So there you have it. Those are our 2 little modeling projects that we got done. And then, going through the bits box once again, and the pile of shame, I started working on a big old pole with a certain iconography of it. And the idea here is, I found my original Orc War Boss that I made way back out of the Assault on Blackreach Orcs. Because I lost, well, I didn't lose. I didn't acquire the main War Boss in when I got him when I was a kid. Because my buddy wanted, I think, like another $25 for him. And me being a poor son of a bitch, I was like, hell no. So I made him out of one of the knobs, because knobs weren't good back then. So this isn't pickle brine, although that's what it's labeled as. This is simple green, which is what I use to strip models. So he's going for a float in there. You can see his gun maybe kind of floating around in there, along with some old metal models that I just don't really care about that I want the paint stripped off of. So let's see if I can get a good sound from that. You can hear him in there.
Build it right up for you.
So that's kind of the game plan. That's what we're working on this week. So just going back to what I said at the beginning, in case some of you clicked through, the biggest things that I want to highlight is Workbench Wednesday is going on hiatus for this week, maybe next week as well. I have some really fun videos that I made that I'm going to put out regarding list building for orcs and competitive stuff and going through and guilt and shame and how to get through it when it comes to Warhammer and orcs. So look forward to those. I'll be dropping them probably on Wednesday, just in the place of Workbench Wednesday. But then after that, it'll be just kind of fun hooliganism. I'll drop them everywhere and anywhere I can. So thanks for watching. Follow along on all our social medias as we work our way through our projects this week. And we will be seeing you next week with more 40K goals.